Last night I watched video after video of farmers who might lose their farms because the government is reneging on contracts they wrote with these farmers. Hi guys, my name's Will, your favorite rural campaign and elections expert, and let's talk about it. Now the problem is President Trump's order to freeze most federal grants and loans has created a panic and uncertainty within the agricultural sector, which relies on billions of dollars in direct government assistance for loans, disaster relief, and conservation practices, many of which have been around since the days of FDR, and farmers have begun to rely on them. Now, if you've watched the news at all, you know that a federal judge blocked the order on Tuesday. The problem is, and what the media isn't telling you, is that farmers and ranchers over the last week to 10 days have begun to receive letters telling them that the government may not be able to live up to the promises they made in these signed contracts with farmers and ranchers to improve conservation and increase productivity on the farm. Sadly, I watched one cattle farmer video last night in the state of Missouri where he said that he's going to fall $80,000 short in funding because the government promised him that if he and his family invested in good conservation practices, they would support his efforts with grants and loans. He received a letter in the past 10 days telling him that they couldn't keep their promise even though they have a signed contract. And as a direct result, he's going to fall $80,000 short on his spring loan payment. And the only option he has right now is to sell his cattle. And he needs those cattle because those cattle are going to have calves, and he needs those calves to pay his fall payment. It's a no-win situation, and it's not his fault. My friends, this is the problem with electing a president that knows nothing about agriculture and placing people at the Department of Agriculture whose only understanding of growing crops and raising livestock is what they learned in a YouTube video on the plane on their way to Washington, D.C.
The recent escalation of trade tensions has placed American agriculture in a precarious position. President Trump's imposition of 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico has led to swift retaliatory measures directly impacting U.S. farmers. These tariffs have disrupted established trade relationships, making it challenging for farmers to export their products. The uncertainty has led many to reconsider their planting strategies, with a notable shift towards crops perceived as more resilient to market fluctuations. Beyond trade issues, stringent immigration policies have exacerbated labor shortages in the agricultural sector. Farmers in states like Wisconsin express deep concerns over aggressive immigration enforcement measures, fearing it will lead to a significant labor shortage and potentially upend the dairy industry. Further compounding these challenges are substantial federal funding cuts. The Trump administration's decision to freeze nearly $10 million allocated for programs supporting local food purchases has left many farmers in financial limbo. These cuts have disrupted initiatives that connected local produce with schools and food banks, severing vital income streams for small-scale farmers. The convergence of these issues has led to a palpable sense of regret among some farmers who previously supported President Trump. In North Dakota, many farmers are still recovering from the 2018 trade war and are now bracing for more losses as President Trump levies new tariffs. This unfolding scenario prompts a deeper reflection on the complexities of policy decisions and their far-reaching impacts. It raises critical questions about the balance between political allegiance and the practical realities faced by those who form the backbone of America's agricultural industry. How can policymakers better anticipate the ripple effects of their decisions on essential sectors like agriculture? And what measures can be implemented to ensure that the voices of farmers are heard and considered in the corridors of power? We invite you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Trend Feed for more insightful stories.
Didn't consider us at all when he made these decisions, and it would be impossible for any world leader to do something that could negatively affect us more than what Trump has done to us, and we voted for him.
Well, well, well. If it isn't another classic episode of We Tried to Warn You But You Didn't Listen. Folks, we've got a grade A, homegrown, organic FAFO moment on our hands, and this time it stars MAGA farmers. People you'd think have a talent for spotting a bad deal, given that their entire livelihood depends on precise calculations, smart planning, and knowing when to hedge their bets. But apparently, when it came to casting their ballots, the math just wasn't mathing. These farmers, many of whom proudly hitched their wagons to Trump's campaign, convinced they were sticking it to those people, the ones their favorite news channel blames for everything, are now waking up to the brutal reality that they themselves were on the menu all along. And let me tell you, their buyer's remorse is serving up some of the juiciest content on the internet right now.
I'm gonna try to get through this without crying. My name is Louise, and me and my family own a wheat farm in Kansas. We are all certainly lifelong Republicans, and we were so happy to vote for Trump in all 3 of his elections. However, we were certainly not aware that he was going to put a funding freeze on all USAID. 100% of our wheat produce is bought by USAID and shipped out of the country.
Regarding all these farmers that are now crying about possibly losing their farms because they voted for Trump, this is why you absolutely should not feel bad for any of these farmers that voted for Trump. Now, the ones that didn't vote, yes, feel sorry for them, go support them, do whatever you need to do. But the ones that voted for Trump, do not feel sorry for them, and let me tell you why.
Farmers are starting to understand the extent of Trump's lack of knowledge, and they're starting to speak out. One farmer was quoted as saying, Trump has no knowledge, zero knowledge of what's important relating to agriculture, especially agricultural drainage.
Farmers are not stupid. If you have the ability to manage a farm and understand the weather, the climate, your machinery, the chemistry that goes into your crops, you are not a stupid person. You're just not. And especially when you come from generational farming, you have the ability to look ahead and predict what you need to survive. And so when you have 2 candidates where you have Kamala Harris on one side giving you a whole fucking list of shit that she's going to do for you and make your life better, and then you have Trump on the other side who can't even come out with a normal sounding sentence, and you still vote for that guy, and you are a farmer, you are either racist or sexist or both. And they're only crying now because now they are being treated exactly how they voted for other people to be treated.
See, karma doesn't always take her time. Sometimes she doesn't even stop to take off her heels before sprinting into action. In this case, she pulled up faster than a combine harvester in peak season. Just 1 month into Trump's return to the Oval Office, the regret videos started rolling in. Now we're 2 months deep, and every single day, a new farmer pops up on social media, wide-eyed and panicked, confessing that, surprise, surprise, they've been bamboozled.
Why exactly would Trump be doing this to farmers anyways? And I'm guessing 99% chance it's because he wants to bankrupt farms so his corporate buddies can come in and do a land grab. Basically what you have been seeing the last few years, major companies buying up a bunch of rental houses and jacking up the price of rents, and it's all going to corporations. It's probably something similar to let these farms go to foreclosure and his corporate buddies be able to come in, swoop them up, and now you've got bigger companies involved in more of our day-to-day food.
Turns out, when you vote for a billionaire who has a long, very public history of screwing over the working class, he does what he does best. Screws you over too. Who could have seen this coming? Oh, right, we did. Repeatedly. And let's be clear, this isn't about laughing at people struggling. It's about watching folks who deliberately ignored every warning sign now grappling with the consequences of their own choices, after spending years telling everyone else to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. So, grab your popcorn, because this is just the opening act. The real reckoning is yet to come, and something tells me it's going to be one hell of a show.
Our farm is completely bankrupt. We have no customer. We had this whole deal with the U.S. government, and now that is just gone in a second. And we are completely decimated. USAID buys about $2 billion worth of American farmers' goods annually, and every single one of those farms is in the same boat as us now. It's a sinking boat.
This is just one piece of the puzzle. Before attempting to freeze federal grants and loans, Trump signed an executive order suspending all Inflation Reduction Act funding, including the USDA's Partnership for Climate, Smart Commodities, and a program aimed at supporting sustainable farming practices. The Inflation Reduction Act is a cornerstone of former President Joe Biden's climate policy, and it allocated $400 billion in funding and tax credits to spur conservation and green energy efforts. And many people don't know that billions of those dollars went into agriculture.
He didn't